Hello again. Now this project is again another cabin bed type project for a customer. This time it's going to be a little different. I've got a lot of materials that have been supplied by the customer. Namely, I've got a bed which was once the top half of a bunk bed set, so it's used to the altitude. Also they've got a shop bought wardrobe which sits underneath this which will sit underneath this bed. It's not a high wardrobe, it's about this sort of height, so it's giving us approximately the right sort of height to work from. What I want to do to add to this, first is adjust the bed because it's too big. I want to bring it down to the size of the standard mattresses that we're using, which are the 1900 by 750. Which will give us more space in the bedroom as well, because like always with these cases, space is a premium, so we want to get as much of it back as we can. So we'll reduce the size of the original bed, the framework. Then to support it, the way it's going to be is at one end it's going to be freestanding, pretty much up on the wall. The other end it's going to be stood on this wardrobe. It doesn't actually reach the wall, doesn't the bed, so we've still got quite a gap. That gap I will be filling by making a shelving unit, which will go up and protrude the side of the bed and come to the height of the top of the bed. This will be used as a shelf to be used when up on the bed for TV, gaming machines, such things like that. And then the wardrobe sitting underneath the bed, as we know, they're not as deep as beds, so we've got again a cavity like on the last job behind the bed. I want to utilise that by making another shelving unit to go behind there with a door on it this time, and that will be used for bedding and such things. It can be closed away from the children so they're not playing around with the things. On the headboard side of it, that is where the top end of the bed where the wardrobes are not going to go, because it's a lightweight manufactured type bed, it doesn't have the strength that the types I make has, so I'm not going to rely on it too much. So I think the easiest and quickest way to do it would be to extend its legs down to the floor. So I'll make some full height legs, and that way at that end of the bed it's still standing on the floor. I will still screw it to the wall to stop any flexibility going on, but that in there stood solid on the floor without obstructing his under bed play area, and the other end stood on the wardrobes. So we've got a good solid structure up there in the air. Mattress, as I said, we're working on the old size, so we've got a new mattress for it which will go straight in when we're finished. So we've got us measurements, we know what we need. Here you can see are the pieces of the bed that we've brought back to the workshop, ready to change the shape of. The length is fine, so there's no problem with that. But on the width side of it, we've got quite a bit too much. Being as these lats here want to be 750, because that is the space between the two side walls that we need for the mattress, and this is 900, so we can get 150 back there, so a good bit of space saving. Lengthwise, we don't need to adjust that at all, that is fine. Right, so once we've adjusted the width of the bed, cutting that down, we then need, because this is going to go up in the air standing on a wardrobe, we need to work out what the depth of the wardrobe is going to be in relation to this, so we know what we've got left. Remembering all this is getting done in the workshop, a few measurements in his head, we'll go back there, everything needs to fit. So a lot of thought about sizes and measurements. The shelving unit behind the wardrobe needs to, adding with the wardrobe, equal the size of the bed with the frame. So remembering to keep that calculation in your head. The length of the room, we've got the measurement of that. The length of the bed from the length of the room will determine the size of the shelving unit at the end of the bed. The depth of that is, because of the layout of the room, will be 430mm. The width, I'm thinking, is going to be not much short of 600 in length. So the first thing is to get this bed sorted out, get that ready, then we can get on, start sorting out sizes and cutting down the timbers for this shelving unit. Now as for the legs, as I said, I'm going to extend them at one end, but I'm not extending with such structure. I don't want something as thick as that, that's too much. I've got some 50 by 50 box section, which I'm going to use that. This is 75, maybe 80. Yeah, 75, right. I don't want to be using that size, so I'm going to take it off carefully at the bottom there, nice and neatly. At the bed end side, I might shape it, give it a bit of a, like it's tapering into this smaller leg. The other end is going to sit on the wardrobe, cut clean off. So we can deassemble that and play around with them, and then cut all these down to 750. Also on 750 we have these which fit on the head and bottom rail. These also want the same 150 taken off them. We shouldn't need to do any measurements because everything equals. If that needs 150 off it, it all needs 150 off it. Badly bored. Oh my god. Turn it up. So we've got them to do. So these are end caps which sit on the top. We need them to do. The other piece that we'll need for this project, of course, is a ladder. Now I'm going to do a ladder the same as I always do a ladder, something like 100 by 20, something like that, length, 2 of them, and then some 28-30mm dowels running across, just 300mm. That's more than enough. This boy's still on a bit on the young side, 3.5, 4 years old, so I don't want something dead vertical. I don't want to use his strength to get up. I want to put a bit of a pitch on it, and then maybe later on they can put it vertical if they want, but I'm going to make it in such a dimensions that it's set initially at an angle so that he's got a little bit of a pitch to climb up, make it a bit easier for himself. That bit I've got to do as well. At the end of it, everything wants to be white. Now, when doing this lot, to do it quick, do it clean and make it match into it, I always find white stone paint, a clean, smooth white stone paint, does a beautiful job, and it lasts very long, and it's good and washable. So just something, if you've got it around, if not then use whatever you've got, but basically just making it white. Emulsion, anything, emulsion you're going to be using 10 coats before you get a solidness to it. But a stone paint, 1 coat will probably make it just as good. And that's it, country board, and all this is already painted white anyway, so that's the theme, get it all in white, spindles and all. Okay, so let's get this stripped down and I'll get on with start chopping everything up. Okay, so one is a 750, set the recut. 750 there. I've got these two that obviously top and bottom, they've been notched around the posts. So I'll keep them to one side for now. Just check if there's any of them got any damage as I'm going along, because I'm taking a good chunk. So I might as well get rid of any rubbish. If there's any bad ends, cut it off at this point. Well, I'll do batter to try and save it. Okay, that's them. Do the same with these, but then I've got to notch that bit. That can't go on the bounce off. Good, that. Easy, just move it. with that, that's all the slats finished. Now taking into account the curve of the blade, 145 is what I've taken off. So I've just set that because all these different lengths. So if I take off the same amount of each piece, then it'll reduce the bed by the same amount. No. So 145 and take it off. These are 2 top caps. Now the ends will need re-rounding over, although these, no, I don't need to, they're going to go against the wall. So if I remember them to go against the wall, it'll be in a pit if they don't get rounded over. And on down is the head and bottom rail. That's these. And you can see same amount taken off there. And again, the same amount being taken off. They're all different lengths. So I couldn't really say how long I want everything, just how much I want off of everything. Now you'll notice these have been drilled out for the screws, the long bolts that go in, and also dowels that go in. We'll need to repeat them, but both ends are the same, so we don't need to actually keep these as temporary. Okay, so that's all the pieces for the depth of the bed that need adjusted. Now, adjust a few of the screw holes and such, and I can reassemble that bed and just check and just make sure everything's okay. Before I do that, what I want to do now is take the posts off all of them and chop them off so that the 2 bottom ones are level and the 2 top ones, I've got that pitch coming down to allow for the new legs that are going on. So I can get that straight down here. Now one thing I love about this saw is this shadow line. It is so useful. I've made a small pencil mark there, just what the offcut is going to be. I can measure it and get it maybe, but it's far easier if I just turn this on and you see there we've got perfect, see that line there, it's absolutely, you can even tell which is the waste side and which is the good side of the cut. So I'll put my pencil mark just there, that is exact. Hold it good and tight and set my depth. And there's my repeater, and there we have it. That is just so beautiful. Now, that is set for them perfectly. So what I've done here is, these are the 2 that's going to be at the head of the bed. This one is in the very corner. So I've chamfered down to narrowing down this cross section, and it's equal to a leg. That I'm going to add to it, get the right one, that one. And when they're butted together, when everything's sanded up, that will sit nicely on that one there. And this one I've chamfered from 2 sides because it's going to sit in the middle with that against the wall. So I want it evenly down. Both equally. On the bottoms, this one is going in the corner. That's to allow for skirting board. I want it to butt to the floor. So all the weight is transferred straight to the floor, should it decide to move at all. And this one, I've just notched the 1, so that will then sit against the skirting board that way, and it will be fastened to the wall. So, basically that is the legs done. That being the crossbar there, that is actually the height of the bed. There. So it's comfortable height for the child is in. So be comfortable with that. Now here what I want to do is these additional extensions for the legs. I want to just simplify the assembly process. So I'm going to half flat the tops of the extensions and the bottoms of these legs so that they sit on nice and easily from behind. Just so it camouflages it as well. So all I'm doing is take half out of this and then half out of the other one. Okay, now that will just make it easier for assembling. I don't want to attach these and make them into one piece. So when I stand that off, pass it into the wall, to the corner, I can then put that one just straight on and know it's going to be standing there pretty good. One down on one screw. Right, I now need to redo these holes. The top ones there are dowel holes. The bottom ones are holes to take the thread out of them. So it's just countable. Right, to mark them up, obviously the easiest way is with dowel pegs, making sure they're the right way up. We've got dowels in the top, so they're the tops. That one hasn't got them, that one has. So let's just put some dowel pegs in, whichever size we want. They'll be the 8s, I believe. Yeah, they're 8s, and they look like 6s. Yeah, they're 6s. Okay, so pegs in. You've got a nice long running surface like this. There's no harm in getting a bit of speed in and just giving it a good hard smack. When you keep them tight to that, everything's going to be level where it wants to be. Let me check, see if I've got some good marks this time. Yes, yes, lovely, lovely indents there.
Grain's pretty thin, huh?
Right, I've just assembled this end because now I want to start thinking about where the wardrobe's going to go, where the ladder's going to go, and how they're all going to fit together. I can't do that without being assembled. Now, the wardrobe itself is 49 centimetres, 490 millimetres. So we're saying there. That's where it's going to come from. If I have it sitting on this, but sitting on that means that is the only, because it's only contour, it's only thin, that's the only support. The top, no, I'll get away with that. Yeah, I'll get away with having that clean onto it. And this is set back, because the doors will sit into that then. So this will be flush with the doors, which as I say is 49 with the doors. Okay, what we've got left, oh look at the twist on that. Uh-huh. 34. So this is going tight against the wall. The wardrobe is sitting there. If you can imagine, the wardrobe is sitting there. That's the back of it. We need to make a shelving unit down there of that width. And just that width. Any more it's going to push the bed out. 34. Okay, so 34 that way. That way it's up to me because it's going into a void. The wardrobe itself is going up there. To about there. It's just going to be in this void space here. I don't want it the full width of the wardrobe. We've got to get into it, and then it's got country board. That one, 600 is my biggest on country board. 34 is a good size there for that. Now here we're coming out because the wall comes out here before it gets to the door. 43, which means it's cutting us 43 to there. Let's just now get it closer. Let me just run through this again. We've got the wardrobe to there. That is the depth of the wardrobe. So underneath this solid wall wardrobe going down to the floor. We've got a wall running along here and along here to me, and then the door. This part of the wall comes out 43 centimetres, which means it comes to there. And I want to build a shelving unit there to encase that void, which means I'm left with that. Now remember what I said about at the beginning about the ladder. I want the ladder to be standard like all the ladders I do, which is 300. It'll be 320 because I've got 300 plus the stretchers, and it's setting 10mm into each side, so it'll be 320 in total. And I've got to fit into that gap. And what have I got there? 350. So it will perfectly fit into that gap very nicely. Now then, ordinarily on here we would have this and the top, but as we've got the ladder going up there, that bit wants to come off. But the rest of it I want to leave just for appearance, because when you look from this side, it's still, you want to be seeing the niceness of the bed and getting on, and it's also a good rail to grab hold of. Although I'm going to be having the country board coming up this shelving unit to the top of this, so it's able to put everything on top that it wants. So what I want to do, I want to keep this balanced. That is where 320. That's where I want to be there. And what does that give me? 320. Yeah. 320, whip that off. Okay, I'm going to stand down and painting, that'll be good. Right. That's the centre. I've raised the bed up to the height that I'm going to be requiring it. I'm going to take my make sure I'm right. Bottom of this piece is 145. 1, 4, 5 it is, that's good. And this will just make it easier when making the ladders. I'll be able to line things up better if it's set at the right place. Okay, ladder from there down to about here. Get some wood. So just getting a rough height, as I say, I want it to come up to here and then straight down to the floor. Not straight down, but at an angle to the floor. This angle could be something like that. That would be sufficient. Do 2 meters to that angle. Okay, I've got all these set now exactly how I want them. I've marked it out at 7-inch spacings. What's 7 inches? 175 mil? I can't remember. Yeah, 175 mil. Right. Set it out 175 mil. 7-inch spacing is what we do normally for treads, so I've set them up. Coming up 175 mil from the bottom, 7 inches from the cell. And taking it to here. I don't want him to have one that he's going to be tripping on and having to try and get over the top hole. So here is ample to the mattress, which has given me 8 treads. So I've cut 8 treads, boom handle, very good, 28 mil, and very cheap for what it is. I want to now set them in, 10 mil, all of them, all the way up. Here at the base I've set the centre with a scrap piece. So we've got perfect centre all the time, I can spin them round. Also I've set the depth stop so it takes me in 10 mil. Now I can run them all through. This is the only one I've marked, so I'll have to mark the other one in a bit as well. Right, I'll mark the other one and do the same again. Okay, now glue and cramps. And leave it over there. Oh.